Check, mic check, 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Platform Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dex. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you follow us. Leave us a comment, any questions that you have for the guest, or any guests that you want to see on the upcoming shows, let me know. Today, I am sitting down with a Chicago native, Illinois native, now living in Nashville, one of the bartenders at the hottest spot in the city, one of my favorite bars in the city, someone that dabbles in some side hustles too. We're sitting down with the famous Drinks with Zac. Zac Dalton's in the house. How's it going, man?
Oh, dude, it's going. You have a hell of a co-host.
We got our co-host, Luna. She's always here too. She's loving on you already.
She's the best.
Yeah.
I met her when you came to pick up food the other day, and I was like, I think I'm in love.
I got stopped by every person that was in the bar, and it was 10 in the morning.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
The band even stopped playing at one point just to acknowledge.
Yeah, it was because it was Dallas, so he knew me because he works at Whiskey Row too. So he literally sat on the mic. He's like, oh, Declan's bringing his dog in here. And then I think that it just attracted even more attention.
Yeah.
So.
It's, Luna potato culture.
Yeah.
It's their world.
Just the Goldens. Bree's got her Goldens.
That's what I'm saying.
Juliana's got her Golden. It's like everybody there is a Golden.
It's
nice.
their world. I'm just shaking drinks in it. That's pretty much what I've said from the beginning.
That is perfect. But yeah, man, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to come over and sit down. I know we've been talking about having you on for a while, and now finally got it. So
I know, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a couple things. Obviously, just your experience that you've had in the service industry over all these years. Some of the cool experiences that you've had from being in the service industry. And then obviously some of those side hustles that you have going on right now. But to get things started, man, tell all the listeners, the viewers, just a little bit about yourself. Give us a fun fact. And then let us know where you're from and how you got into the service industry.
So for those of you listening that don't know, I am Zac Dalton, also known as Drinks with Zac, recently also known as Eats with Zac. Been in the restaurant industry right around 15 years, between front of house, back of the house. I did corporate marketing for Diageo, on premise, within bars, and really it's just all I've known. I love it. And for me, it's just kind of always been about the guest experience, always been about the people. I've been in Nashville now for 4 years. Before that, I was based just outside the city of Chicago. Did a ton in Rosemont. I've run bars out there, started a bunch of bars. I've opened 9 bars in the past 5 years. So it's been a wild ride, but I think I've really found a home finally that I'm super happy with, and couldn't be more committed to the cause of where they want to go and all the things that are coming in the future.
Yeah, being with a company that you can align with the direction that they're going in is definitely a lot easier to work with. That's for sure. And then obviously just everybody there, the staff is always awesome. So it's a good time every time I'm in there. So are you originally from Chicago, or where are you from? So
that actually brings me to my fun fact.
Oh, okay.
So thing most people don't know is, everyone knows, they've seen my leg tattoo sleeve. And I tell people, I'm from Chicago, or I'm from the suburbs outside of Chicago. I was actually born in Tennessee.
Really?
So I was born in Tennessee. And then when I was 3, I moved with my mom to the suburbs outside of Chicago, where her family still resided.
Okay.
And I grew up there. And then, came to Tennessee, something was just drawing me back. It was like
circle, yeah.
It was like as soon as I turned 21 and I was, fiending for that Broadway girl experience, just coming. Realistically, I ended up coming here probably 2 to 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And then it just had to come back.
Yeah.
I loved it, loved everything about it. Even when I stopped bartending and started doing the marketing thing, was still drawn to Tennessee for some reason. And then if not for COVID, I probably never would have ended up here.
Yeah, because 4 years you would have been here, right?
Oh yeah, it was like
you moved here during COVID or right?
Yeah, so it was like
before,
right in the heart of COVID.
Okay.
So for the 3 years before I moved here, I was still in Chicago, loving it. I was working for Inspira Marketing, which essentially they do all the on-premise. That was how I met the girls from Milwaukee.
Yeah. Like Kelly and Maribel and all them?
Yeah, exactly. So we did the same thing, just in different markets.
Okay.
And
wait, so that wasn't with Diageo? That was with Inspire?
So Inspira was the company that essentially we worked for, but our business cards, for all intents and purposes, everything said Diageo.
Gotcha.
Because we represented the brands. I love it.
That's your favorite ball. So
I don't know which mic to talk into. That's her mic. So that was kind of, that became my thing. That was how the Drinks with Zac thing got started.
Yeah.
When I initially started, I was one of the youngest people they ever hired, and their big thing was having a social media presence.
Yeah.
And when they make our business cards, you have to submit, what is your handle? And so I get hired, at the time 25, and I don't know kind of what to do. I'm like, I'm looking up, and it was like, what's a catchy, I'm like, suburbs drinks, whiskey on ice, and I had no idea. And I wish to this day that I knew, but we were sitting at a table and we're just like having dinner, and they go, dude, what about drinking with Zac? And I go, oh man, that's kind of catchy. And then I type it in, and Instagram suggested Drinks with Zac.
Gotcha.
And
see, like, I'm surprised that neither of those were taken.
No. Yeah. So Drinks with Zac just kind of became the handle. And subsequently, 6 months later, I start looking, because we ended up following like all the other people in all the other markets. That was kind of how we became friends with other people. And I started seeing like Drinks with Neil, Drinks with Kevin, Drinks with Stacy. And I'm like, weird. And then I'd look, and it would be, they recently started this account a month ago, and I was like, oh, dude.
So they were like copying you then.
Well, it was just like, it's very, it's kind of nice. It's one of those things where it's like imitation is flattering.
Flattery, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I loved it. And even still now, it's when I moved to Nashville and when I stopped doing the marketing thing, the Drinks with Zac thing kind of blew up, and a big part of that was, doing these big events. We'd be with the owner of Kettle One, and he would, tag us and stuff. Or, there was one night I was at El Jefe, rest in peace. And me and Strategy were there. Yeah. And this was back, I think, one of his accounts, because I think he's had 2 or 3 that have kind of.
Yeah, he's been up to like 50,000 and then had them
exactly.
booted,
and it was one of those times, and I just remember us being there, and he shared a picture, and it was like me, him, bottle of Don Julio,
chugging Don Julio.
Might have been a video. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't find it now, so it's like, don't worry about it. But he shared it and tagged me, and I think it was like that day. I think I got like 1,500 followers.
Just for
and that was the thing, is it was like everything was networking. So then when I decided to stop doing the marketing thing, I was like, Drinks with Zac has just kind of become who I am. So let's keep it going, but let's make it a lifestyle thing.
But you had bartended prior to these jobs, prior to working with Diageo, prior to working with Inspire. Where did you first get into the service industry and start bartending?
So my first bartending job was at Five Roses Pub in Rosemont.
In Rosemont, yeah. I used to play at Park Tavern out there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Park Tavern, it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
I used to love Park Tavern. I used to love that whole area.
It was a dope little setup, like that mall or whatever the hell it was. I played there like twice.
It's weird, an interesting time now. I drove by, because I was home 2 weeks ago, and I drove by. Yeah. And it is wildly different.
Yeah.
There's like a weed shop. And there's where that Hofbrau house was is now split up into like 3 or 4 different places. There's like a tiki bar. A buddy of mine just sent me a video like 2 days ago, how they do the Christmas trees and like an ice rink in the middle.
Yeah, it's like a soccer field in the summer, and there's like
someone like lit one of the Christmas trees on fire. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like a Bruce Willis movie, man.
Yeah,
there's just stuff going on everywhere.
But that's where you started?
That's where I started. So I served for a long time, and I always liked the idea of serving more.
Okay.
Because younger Zac was a lot more selfish, and was, I had the opportunity to kind of bartend, or I liked the idea of being behind a bar, but I didn't like the idea of sharing my tips. And then I realized, that it really is more of a team thing. And I grew, it's like I grew up as a person who was like, no, bartending's way cooler.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I served for a long time in a few different places. And then that was my first real job bartending. Was there with, a couple of my super close friends that I still talk to now. Part of the reason I'm in Nashville and part of the reason that, the Cantina is the Cantina was my first bartending job. It was me and my buddy Ryan Carson, and they used to put us in the back. So Five Roses, for those of you that don't know, it's no longer open, but it used to be this Irish pub that after 10 o'clock turned into a nightclub.
Okay.
Which is crazy concept, but hell of a good time. And they used to shove me and him in the back because we were, early 20s kids, and they thought, they've never bartended, they don't know anything. And we decided to call the back area of this Irish pub the Cantina and make it seem real cool and exclusive. And so we had this huge industry draw, and people would just come back there, and we'd have more people back there than they'd have in the front on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden it's the end of the night, and the two dumb kids that
making more
had
money
never bartended are making more. And so that was kind of my thing with Barstool when we opened, was they wanted that bar upstairs to be the Horseshoe. And I was like,
really?
No, we should call it the Cantina because, it's kind of tucked away. And it was like an ode to my first bartending job. Because I was
I feel like if it was called the Horseshoe, it would be so different.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that, I don't know if I think that it fits.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was the Horseshoe Bar originally when Barstool opened. And that was, what started it all, was like they made a bet. Because within a week, all of the staff referred to it as the Cantina.
Yeah.
And now it's become Zactina.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I actually had on here as one of the segments that we were going to talk about, because I think that that's an awesome story. And then obviously for myself, for a lot of the locals, and then for even just random people that are coming in, with Nashville having so many tourists coming in and out of the city, you see that sign and you're like, what's Zactina?
Oh, yeah.
And it just makes you kind of ask. But then the story behind it, like the first time that you told me, I had no idea. And I'm like, I don't get it. Why is your name on there? Like, what's going on? Yeah. So tell us the story of how you earned that sign.
So it is the wildest thing. And I mean, I love it. And I'm blessed to be in a position that something like that actually happened. And I'm grateful to, honestly, it was not just me that did it. It was the whole industry of Nashville, because the bet originally started was, like I said, they wanted to call it the Horseshoe. I wanted to call it the Cantina. One of our managers, when we first opened the bar, made a bet with me. And he said, if on a Sunday night you can sell 100 White Walkers, we will call that bar the Cantina from now on. We'll change, we'll change it on hot schedules. We'll change it in everything, like on our tip sheets, everything. And he goes, but if you could sell 400, we'll call it Zac's Cantina, and we'll get you a neon sign. And of course it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But when I really thought about it, like selling 400 of anything is a wildly impossible task.
Yeah.
And so I, did what any bartender would do, and I made a flyer on Canva.
And, which has become huge for you now.
Oh, dude, I am a whore for Canva at this point. I love it. But I made a flyer on Canva. I took a funny picture of myself. I put, I inserted a Creed reference. And
fitting.
For sure. And invited the entire industry of Nashville.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like clockwork. And I'm talking these bartenders, even the ones that worked, were showing up at like 4 o'clock. They're like, hey man, we just want to come out to support. They're buying 10 at a time. Ended up selling 500 White Walkers.
Yeah.
And, I saw the owner the next day, and he was just like super impressed and super happy. And he was like, dude, that's awesome.
It's fucking insane.
And yeah, the rest was history. Zactina became, which, everyone's always like, oh, it's Zac's bar. And I was like, no, it's a small cantina within a bar.
I literally just saw somebody put an Instagram post up, and you're like, actually, it's a cantina within a bar.
I take no ownership of anything or anything that happens up here.
Yeah.
But
I take no responsibility.
No responsibilities, But no, it's really cool, because for me, it's just so much more. It's amazing to have, your name up on the wall at a a Broadway bar, especially one that's as amazing, as successful as Barstool. But for me, it's more of like a beacon. And I like to say it's like the light from a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Where it's telling the industry like, hey guys, come up here, we're open. And it's just become such a cool spot to be up there. It's my favorite place to be. Even if I didn't work at Barstool and I was going to bars downtown, I love that idea of kind of like a tucked away nook. You know, there's nothing I hate more than going to a super slammed bar on a Saturday night and, you know, every Brad and Chad is bumping into you and it's, you know, oh, if you don't have a table, you can't sit down. I'm like,
no, I love it because it reminds me like that section. Obviously, the other week when my friends were all here, like that's the only bar that they like went to. They just sat in the corner of Zactina.
We've got a little rope up there.
Yeah.
It makes people feel like it's like a separate VIP. It
is.
And I think they started the rope like for the bar backs. And I've seen Saturday nights where like that rope will gradually
it just
like,
keeps getting moved further.
It keeps getting moved further and further back. But it's cool because you know that anyone that's kind of in that corner, they are regulars.
Yeah.
And it's when that rope gets moved out, it's because, you know, our amount of regulars is growing.
Yeah.
Every week, every month, the amount of people that we're meeting and we're creating experiences for, it grows. And, you know, that's an ode to all the bartenders at Barstool. You know, they do an amazing job. I've worked with a ton of people and I've worked at a ton of different bars. And I will say this is probably the least, if any, turnover I've ever seen. And just the quality of bartenders that we have, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I just had Caroline on here last week. I had Iga on here, who's the GM of Barstool before, and both of them I talked about that with because I had when Iga was on here was shortly after Barstool opened, and that was one of the things that I asked her because obviously in the service industry turnover is so high, and then Caroline even too said the same thing where it's like we've really had no turnover there, which for people that aren't familiar with the service industry or never worked in the service industry is crazy because I feel like people quit left and right. They get fired for doing dumb shit or whatever it ends up being. So to have that same team basically from when you guys started, and then just, like you're saying, the hard workers that are there too is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I was saying, like I've opened like 9 bars in the past however many years. Almost every bar when you open, they hire 20% more staff than they need.
Yeah, because they know they're going to lose a bunch.
They know they're going to lose a bunch. With Barstool, it was almost like a cheat code by them doing that because we organically grew 20% bigger than we thought we were going to be really fast.
Yeah.
So it worked out super well. I think, there's very few people that are not, I think our entire staff is still from Open.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's huge.
Awesome.
And it's also great for growing as a team. That's one of those huge speed bumps that you kind of see in restaurants is they become very cliquey or they kind of have that separation between new staff and old staff. We're all the same staff. So we don't have that like, we're veterans. We've been here forever. Oh, there's the new kid.
Yeah, there's no like animosity with a new person.
No,
where it's you gotta get them worked in before. But yeah, I mean something with the Zactina too that I did. I love the story behind it. I think it's awesome, and I just think whether you're a service industry, whether you're a local that's not in the service industry, but you come out to Barstool all the time, it's just awesome to kind of see the support that comes to that bar, whether people are sharing it on social media, they're just coming in to say hi and visit you. Just kind of what does that support mean to you when you see people posting the sign or posting just hanging out at the bar and tagging you and stuff? I mean, what does that mean to you?
Dude, that's everything. I mean, for me, it's as much about, creating that vibe or creating that idea that, the sign's up on the wall, but it's awesome that people take time out of, their time at a bar or their night to send those pictures, post those pictures. For me, it's cool. Like I love that. I don't know. It's a weird feeling, but I love it and keep doing it 100%.
Yeah.
But
They're just hyping you up, man. It's
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, that's the thing is I've for a long time, I've especially when I moved to Nashville, I've tried to be like, be very humble and just do a good job, be great to people. The money comes.
Yeah.
You can chase the money as much as you want, but you may never get it. But if you chase being genuine and like chase being a good person, you always win because you control that. And so it's like, for me, it's just always been, about meeting people, networking, growing. So when I see people sharing that, especially when I see people that I don't know, see, that's when it gets like not weird, but when locals ask or like when people I know post it, I love that. But then you'll get the occasional just random people that'll tag me and stuff, and I don't know them.
Like don't have any mutual followers, anything.
And I'm confused and a little scared.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool.
But it's probably, I would assume it's probably from one of the other bartenders, like
that's
telling the story.
That's
to
what we
them.
hope.
Yeah.
That's what we hope. I sometimes joke with people because I'll tell them it's for me.
Yeah.
And they won't believe me. And I'll say, nah, yeah, you're right. It's Zach Bryan. And they go, oh, that makes more sense. I'm like, yeah.
Then you can have your friend that looks fucking just like him come up to the bar.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah. That guy, man. That guy.
That's awesome.
I love that too.
What ultimately prompted like you to move to Nashville? Was it just from the times that you visited and then like Chicago shutting down with COVID and you were just like, let's make the move, or what?
Yeah. So, I mean, my big thing was I was really good at the marketing thing. And I thought this was my career. I'm going to do this and, either make a lateral move or a forward move, but like I'm in. And then COVID happened and Chicago was more strict. I mean, Wisconsin's probably the same way, or Milwaukee the same way, where it was like the rest of the country was not even nearly as strict as some of these Chicago areas. And I knew that going back into market, it didn't matter if I was number one in the entire country. None of that mattered. Pay was going to be very different. Our KPIs were going to be very different. The way we were able to do our job was never going to be the same.
Yeah.
And so for me, who was coming off, a few months of being at the top of my game, I had the same accounts for 3 years where it's like I spent 3 years building these relationships to where I could hit my bonus every month. And, if there's some new crazy Captain Morgan, I could go in and be like, hey, man, you guys want to put this in some sort of cocktail? Let's run a feature. And no questions asked. These guys were like, yeah, absolutely. But all of that went to shit with COVID. And so for me, I had to make a choice. And I was like, well, the only other thing I know is the industry. And to go back into the industry, I said, I'm taking a step back, and I said I would never do that. So at the very least, if I'm going to go back into the industry, I'm going to do it in the city I want to be in.
Gotcha.
So I quit. I left middle of COVID because they never laid us off until the end. They kept us all through the pandemic on payroll, and essentially we were on Zoom calls, we were doing training lessons, we were doing surveys, like working on Excel.
Yeah.
Like we were still doing stuff.
And trying to build like a client base still.
Yeah, we were still, supposed to be keeping in touch with our accounts virtually, stuff like that.
Well, that's cool at least, because then at least you're still getting paid.
It kept us busy, but then, I will say, and you can ask the girls.
Yeah.
Maribel and Kelly, they will tell you the virtual happy hours got wild. I'm talking, I'm waking up on like a Swan inflatable in my living room at like 6 p.m. just so confused. And there's like a bottle of Kettle Orange on the floor. And I'm just like, what?
Were you guys all just drinking just
100%.
like on camera on the Zoom? Or you're like sneaking it?
No. Towards the end of the pandemic, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I for sure was like, hey, who wants to play beer pong at my apartment? But yeah, no, we were doing the old Diageo happy hours on Zoom.
That's awesome.
And that was the thing, was they were promoting it like between markets.
Yeah.
And so it was like Milwaukee and Chicago, and we're all on there. We're all wearing funny hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Just having a blast.
Yeah,
That's
man. I mean,
awesome.
COVID was a terrible time, but I tried to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
And then, my outcome, was Nashville. I wanted to live here, and I had actually applied for a job twice within Diageo to make a move here.
Laterally, yeah.
But there's an issue with Chicago is a sampling market and Nashville's not.
Okay.
So essentially when we would go out in Chicago, I could
Put a card down and buy people shots at the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. And I could say, hey, there's Crown Peach. Let's do 50 Vegas bombs.
That was like my favorite thing about when I would be out in Milwaukee and like Kelly or Maribel.
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
They'd show up to the bar and you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. My buddies still tell me, they were like, dude, it was the shit, except when you'd call us on a Wednesday and be like, boys, tonight we're drinking Johnny Black. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry about that, guys. But it was a blast.
That's like the other end of it. It's like we loved it if it was like a night that you want to be drinking. But there's sometimes we would just be like out to eat at a bar, and then all of a sudden Kelly would pop up, and we're like, God damn it!
And there are still to this day, like I have at least a handful of friends that they would see me in a bar, and even still now, like they know I live in Nashville, they know I don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
but they'll see me, and it's just that immediate like, oh fuck, because it's they're scarred.
They should get scared.
They're scarred from those sampling times. But yeah, man, I had 2 friends when I moved here.
Yeah.
So I had my friend Ryan, who was a huge part in me moving down here. He was my best friend for a long time. We kept in touch when he moved down here to essentially, start his life with his now fiance. And I had my friend Sydney, which I don't know if you know Sydney. She works at Aldean's.
No, I've seen you post her on like Instagram and stuff. I don't think I've ever actually met her.
Yeah, so Carson and Sydney were my two people, and I've grown everything to now and just networking and just being good to people from then.
Yeah. So did you have a job lined up when you got here, or you just came? Mm-hmm. So where did you first start out here?
So originally I started at Mellow Mushroom.
Nice.
Which, as crazy as this sounds, I didn't have a job when I moved down here. I had my severance, and I just figured sometimes you got to just jump and build your wings on the way down. And basically for the first month, just got hammered every day.
Okay, that's a good way to network.
Yeah, and it was like COVID, bars are closed. I'm like, dude, I'm at Old Hickory. I'm on the lake all the time.
Yeah.
And having a blast. And then it was weird, like it was fate. And I was just walking down Broadway, and this dude just like stops me, and he's like, yeah, Zach. I'm like, oh. And of course it's like I'm confused, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I turn around, and it's actually, at the time, it was the general manager of Mellow Mushroom.
Okay.
Who used to be our kitchen manager at Toby Keith's bar in Rosemont when I opened that when I was like 19, 20 years old. And he was our kitchen manager, and I remember working with him, and then I left and I went over to Five Roses, but he like remembered my face and like saw me, stopped me, and I was like, what are the chances? What are the odds? And I'm thinking he was like a security guard or, just hanging out. And he's like, yeah, no, he's like, I'm the GM here. And I was like, oh shit, like that's awesome. So I got his number, and the next day I told him, I was like, man, if you guys ever need any help, like I'd be super happy. He texted me the next day, which, I mean, now it probably doesn't matter, but it was like, we were sending it. I think it was, at the time, it was like my buddy's birthday. We're up to like 3, 4 in the morning drinking, and he texted me at like 11 a.m. and he's like, hey man, is there any way you can come and you could start today? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm fine.
I don't have a job.
And you're still jobless at that point?
I'm still jobless at this point, and very much intoxicated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, totally. I'll be there 11:30. And so my first day of bartending in Nashville, I Ubered and showed up and ended up working a 14-hour day.
Oh, God.
My first day, absolutely just hungover shit, and was like counting money at the end of the night, like, yeah, I could do this.
And that's the first time you were bartending in years, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So I was going to say, like, once you're doing it regularly, like, you kind of just go on autopilot. Like, if you're taking shots with customers, you just get onto like an autopilot, and you can kind of still just do your thing. But yeah, you might have been a little rusty, and then trying to put it into autopilot's a little different.
And of course, it's like COVID times too. So most bars were closed.
Yep.
Except the ones that did like more than 50% food. So it was like us, Rippy's, Old Red. So we were slammed. So I'm just, hating life.
And that's a fucking long ass shift. Too.
Yeah, but I loved it, man. I always pride myself on like the bad days.
Yeah.
Like you can have a million good days and it's fun, but I don't think you really learn anything from them. Whereas like the bad days and like the days that suck and are just absolute dog shit, those are the best days.
Yeah. Because
you made it through them and you learn the most from them. And, it's not about
the character builders.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's not about like the wins or losses. It's kind of about like the journey.
Yeah.
So,
well, you've given me your first job. You've given me your first job here. Out of your entire career so far, what's the worst job that you've had?
Oh man. That's tough.
I've never asked somebody this yet.
I would say Five Roses would be an easy scapegoat because they're not open anymore.
So you're not going to get any flack from anybody?
No one's going to hate that I'm talking shit. No, honestly, I love everywhere that I've worked in Nashville.
It doesn't have to be just service industry. I'm talking any job.
It's really all I've ever done.
Yeah.
It's like I worked at a pop alley when I was 16. That was pretty tight. But yeah,
I used to
would
work
say
at Subway. So that's
the thing about Five Roses that sucked is that I managed. So I made the transition when I was 23 and I stopped bartending and I became the AGM and then like ran a GM, and that sucked because it was like I'm young and not experienced whatsoever. And I have an absolutely slammed insane bar on the weekends. And I've got people, I've got bouncers. I've got a whole team that I have to basically hold accountable. And I'm 23. So that was probably
younger than everybody else that having to follow.
I had to fire people. Like I had to put someone in the beer cooler one time because they got too fucked up on their shift. Like that sucked. I had people like I got death threats at the front door before. Like that sucked.
Were you making less money too?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I took a $20,000 pay cut to run the bar. And that like the dynamic of that in this industry is so fucked, but will never change. I wish Iga, perfect example. I have no idea what Iga makes, but I wish Iga made $1 million.
Yeah.
Because, it's like our team is so, fun and wild and crazy, but Barstool is such an amazing bar that it's like, I feel like managers everywhere just, should make more than bartenders, but our bartenders are semi-spoiled.
Yeah, it's hard with so much of the service industry. Like you always hear when are you gonna get a real job, whatever. And it's
I love it.
It's like, dude, I make so much money doing this. Why would I want to do anything else? Where I'm also working half the amount of hours that you are
100%
in your job. But yeah, I mean, that's actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about was something that I asked Caroline last week. I wanted to kind of get your opinion on it too. Of just kind of how you balance at work between giving that good customer service that you were talking about, being as outgoing, as charismatic as you are, just good with people. You're just definitely a people person.
I try to be.
How do you balance that line of taking the time to talk to people, maybe taking that extra minute to get to know somebody that could possibly turn them into a regular versus just pumping out bars at high volume with how busy that bar is?
Yeah, man. So to me, that's like an art form. Because if you want to just be like that guy that is, I'm going to have a 30-minute conversation with you. We're going to basically do a podcast right here at the bar top.
Yeah.
Go work in, East Nashville or something like that, where you are not going to be 4 deep, because that's an impossible task.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I think for me that's been successful in kind of closing the gap between creating that experience that you get from that long-term conversation and the quick, here's your change, open or closed, fuck off, next. There is a gap there. And I think that the biggest thing is smiling, and not fake smiling, but like be genuine. So every time I'm given a receipt, like I want to make eye contact. I want to, genuinely smile at them, tell them have a great day. If I get 2 seconds and, the music isn't crazy loud, I'll be like, hey, by the way, my name's Zach. Let me know if you need anything else. especially during those day shifts, little things like that make a difference. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about tip culture and the oversaturation in general of tipping nowadays. And it's the littlest thing as far as like giving your name or smiling or taking the time to ask if someone has a vodka preference, where for us, it could be considered upselling. But to a guest, it could be considered, oh, I didn't think about that. Like, my drink's going to be better because you offered. And it's one of those things where I very seldom get stiffed, even at a high volume bar.
Yeah, which is impressive.
I mean, it's awesome, but you know, pennies make dollars. Where it's like, you could have $100 tab and tip me $1. At the end of the night, I'm not looking at your total. When I'm entering tips and I'm putting in 500 receipts, I'm tunnel vision and I'm trying to get out of there. I want to go to bed. So it's like people that are sitting there and dwelling on every single tip percentage of, oh, well, this one's only 10%. Like, fuck them. Like, that's not none of it matters. At the end of the day, look at your total that you made and, you know, can you pay your bills? Tight. Are you happy?
Be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about being happy. And like this year for me is just so much more about that than anything else. And, you know, that's it.
I definitely think that you are very genuine. I mean, as far as the people that I've met in Nashville, the first time I met you without knowing me or who I am and me not knowing you or who you were super outgoing and just really just friendly just right away. And then obviously I like found out that you were living in Chicago. We kind of bonded over like mutual friends that we had, and just kind of clicked from there. But for you at that bar and just in Nashville, you just are known as that guy in the industry. You're just always happy. You got a smile on your face. But then even while you're bartending, you kind of have your own brand. Whether it's like the glasses, the hair, is that something that you like think about, or is that something that just kind of came naturally and now it's just like the look and it's just...
So I made this joke the other day where, you know, I'm really glad, and you're exactly right. The mullet, the bigger glasses, they have literally become my brand. And if a hairstyle and an accessory is all I got to have, you know, to be my brand and, you know, great service and a smile, I'm here for it. 'Cause some people build their brands on like being an asshole.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, if excellent service and a mullet, you know, are my brand, hell yeah, you know.
Not a bad brand.
The mullet was the funniest thing. It was just another ode to COVID, dude. I didn't get a haircut for a year. And so for the longest time I had like my hair trimmed, you know, like tapered in the back, tapered on the sides. And during COVID, my hair grew out and it was just like straight on the top. And when it grew, the back curled. And I go, oh, dude, I basically was born to have a mullet.
Just with how it curled and just looked perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I cut it and I was like, well, because that's the cool thing about a mullet is you can always risk it. If your hair's long enough, cut your hair into a mullet, see how it looks. If you hate it, all you have to do is cut the back off.
Yep.
And you're great.
Yeah.
And so I did it. My barber, it was like the craziest thing because I still, to this day, I still have the same barber from when I moved to Nashville. And he's awesome. And I just remember going into that shop the first time, getting that haircut, and him like spinning the chair around, looking in the mirror and going, fuck yeah. And I'm in just like a pink Golden Girls cut off t-shirt. And we still joke about it to this day. He's over at Culture Nashville. And this dude still to this day will be like,
what's his name? Who's
Alan?
Alan? Okay.
Yeah, he's the owner.
Yeah. That's the dude that cuts like Will Compton's hair and everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
my buddy goes there. He's actually like, I'm supposed to get in contact with him because he wants to do some podcast stuff.
Oh, dude, he would be an amazing guest to have. He's just entrepreneurial wise and like his execution. His shop, as soon as you walk in, first of all, is beautiful. And him and his wife have done an amazing job. They did a ton of stuff, if not everything by themselves. And it's awesome. quality haircuts. Like it's just a cool vibe in there. Like you go in, they're right across the street from Daddy's Dog. So it's like while you're getting your haircut, you look out the window, you see just like tell your girl stop liking my wiener pics on the sign. I'm like, dude, this is sick. But ever since I started going to him, just super genuine dude. We related, and I think y'all would get along great.
Yeah. No, I that's just a crazy small world that it's like you just go from talking about that. I'm like, I was literally just talking
100%.
about him like 2 weeks ago and got told that I need to link up with him.
Absolutely.
So it's wild that it's that small. But yeah, I mean, through the service industry, you've had the opportunity to work with obviously the brands like Diageo, now working at Barstool. You actually told me a story a couple weeks ago or months ago, actually, probably now. But you told me a story about a trip to New York that you got to make with Red Bull. Got to go to the New York Red Bulls game and just do a bunch of other fun stuff. How did that kind of come about?
So Red Bull, essentially, I think they chose about 10 of us, and they gave us, this title of Red Bull champions, and they invited us to New York on a trip. For me, I think the big thing was the Zactina sign, because when you sell 500 White Walkers,
You're using Red Bull and
you're using the shit out of some Red Bull.
For people that don't know what White Walkers are, and I didn't know what they were until I moved to Nashville, it's Deep Eddy, lemon vodka.
Yep.
Shake that shit up, pour them out, and then it's the coconut
berry Red Bull,
that makes it turn blue, looking like a White Walker. Game of Thrones reference.
It is that simple.
Yeah, and they're delicious.
They really are.
I feel
they're
like
dangerously delicious.
Yeah. I felt like I got diabetes after the weekend that my friends were here because we drank over 100 of them.
Oh, yeah. Y'all were getting after it.
It was a good weekend. But yeah, when you go through 500 of them.
Oh, dude, it was nuts.
The Red Bull sales are through the roof. So
well, and it was just like, because it's a different skew than just, regular or sugar-free. It was like,
why are they using all this coconut Red Bull?
Like, damn, they're going through White Walkers like crazy. Because I was out maybe like a week later, and I was out at Tin Roof Demumbrian, and one of our Red Bull guys, our musketeer Jack, he comes up to me, and I'd never met this dude, and he's like abnormally tall, and he's like 6'5" or 6'6", and he comes up and he's like, "Hey, you're the sign guy," and I go, "Yeah."
Yeah, my name's Zach.
I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And I was like the first time I met him, and we still joke about it. But he gave me like a Red Bull gift card, and he was like, "Hey," and I think I have one. So, but they look like it's basically like a metal gift card.
Zach's got money with his Louis Vuitton wallet.
It was a gift. I
just had to point it out.
It's
He doesn't even have this gift card in there. He just wanted to pull out his wallet and flex.
I'm going to bring it to you at work because I know I have it. I just put it in here.
What are they like?
So they're metal Red Bull gift cards.
It's like an Apple Card type thing?
Kind of, yeah. Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it to work though when I find it.
So he just came up and gave you a gift card because
so he was like, "Yeah, you're the sign guy," and he had heard, because I think it created like a coconut berry shortage, and they didn't have them in stock, or somehow Red Bull got word that there was so many White Walkers sold at Barstool that there was this contest, there was a guy, there was a sign involved. I was that guy.
Yeah.
And we kept in touch, and then my friend Colin that runs Nashville Bar Bash sand volleyball tournament, he was really close with them, and the whole New York trips came about, and they chose me and a bunch of other people. Courtney also.
It was just bartenders and like servers in the industry.
So Red Bull's done stuff like this in the past, I believe, with owners and with people that are really high up,
like upper management people.
Yeah. Okay. And they've seen this program, kind of how it works is building relationships and, incentive driven things where there's a big meeting involved and it's ideas, it's really just kind of growing relationships and growing ideas and making a plan and then executing. And so for us, it was kind of the first time they were experimenting with starting at the bottom.
Gotcha.
Where it's like bartenders are pretty much the lowest on the totem pole as far as where they have any kind of connection to. And yeah, I mean, we basically went, we had a huge meeting about awesome ideas and stuff that we want to do in the future. And, you know, they celebrated us and took us to a game. We went out, we had a great time.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, I mean, that's got to be some good memories to make in New York.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
I didn't drink Red Bull though for at least a week and a half when I came back. There was a lot of Red Bull shotgunned. There was an amazing time had with those guys. And it was the first time I ever went to New York too.
Having heart palpitations when you get back home.
You know, I think it was just I was sad. You know, I fell in love while I was in New York, and you know, I missed her. So
have you been in New York before or no?
No, that was first time.
Oh, damn, that's even more cool.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
First time having a FourLoko on the subway, dude, it was crazy.
FourLoko, Jesus.
I was like, yeah, for sure. That's exactly what I want to put in this brown paper bag right now. What else?
I forgot what just happened the other week, like what video we saw, but Maddie and I were literally just talking about FourLoko because she was talking about drinking them in college and just getting blasted off FourLokos. And that was like back before they
changed the recipe.
Yeah. Where it was like they were super high alcohol content.
God,
where it's like you drink one and be fucked up.
I think I would drink them like they were around as much as they were around. Mm-hmm. And then my best friend, Pat, who I just went to his wedding, we went to EDC.
In Vegas or where?
When it was in Chicago.
Okay.
And I think it was at like the Raceway or something like that. And I shotgunned one before we went and woke up to just pictures of me on my phone with like clowns. And I was like, yeah, I'll never fucking drink those again. No shot. I'm like, I have like pictures still and I'll show them to you of it's like me in like green short shorts and like these mime clown girls. I have no idea where I am. I'm just sitting there like holding a Coors Light. I'm like, God, that was the last time I think I ever had FourLoko until New York. And it just seemed like a good idea in New York because I was like, yeah, why not?
Just one won't hurt, you know?
Yeah, you know. Yeah. I was like, it'll give me cred on the subway. I was like,
somebody's looking at him. They're like, damn, that guy's badass.
Well, I'm sitting there like with my brown paper bag, and if they look at me and I just kind of like slide it down, they're like, oh fuck, this guy's here.
Yeah, he means business.
You know what? All right. The only other thing harder than that is like if I do it and it's a twisted tea, they're like, oh shit.
Don't want to get hit in the head with that.
They start slowly backing up. Be awesome.
But yeah, I mean, service industry, you got the opportunity to meet and network with so many people. Give me some other memorable kind of opportunities that have arise from the service industry for you. If you can think of any. Yeah,
I mean, the cool thing. So up until Nashville, it was really cool to like meet celebrities.
Yeah,
because in Chicago, they're always kind of around, but in Rosemont especially because it was a little bit on the outskirts, you don't necessarily meet as many. But I remember I met Juicy J one time. That was hilarious because I was managing / still kind of bartending, and someone ordered a blue motherfucker, and he's like sitting at a table and he goes, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh, it's a blue motherfucker." And he goes, and his boy's like, "What'd you say?" And I was like,
it's the drink name.
I'm not saying it's blue motherfucker. I'm saying it's a blue motherfucker. There's no comma. We're fine. So I ended up like making him money, like put it on his story. And I just remember being like sending it to like 50 people. I'm like,
I made that.
Yeah. Coolest thing probably was meeting Skrillex and Ed Sheeran. So I was managing at the bar one time and they just showed up on like a Friday night.
Where?
At Five Roses.
Okay. This is in Illinois. Damn.
No one knew about Skrillex being there, but Ed Sheeran had a show Friday night and Saturday night. And Friday night after his show, it's probably like 11:30, midnight. He shows up and I get like a little thing on the radio and it's like, hey, there's this guy here. He doesn't have an ID, but he has security guards. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like confused. So I go down, I go to the front door. I see that it's Ed Sheeran.
They didn't know it was him?
They didn't know that it was him. They're strictly Taylor Swift fans. I don't know, man. My door guys were very different back then. But no, so they had no idea. And I was like, let him in right now. And I got them a table. Come to find out that right behind him is Skrillex. And I'm like, that's sick. And genuinely the nicest guys ever. Like super humble, super nice. We got them a table. I don't even know if they were really drinking, but like got them a bottle. They're having a great time. Skrillex asks, "Hey, do you think your DJ would mind? Is it cool if I like jump up there?" And I was like, "Not at all." Of course. Yeah, go ahead.
What DJ is going to be like, no, dude, fuck
man.
off. Like,
Fuck you, dude.
This is my set.
Bangerang sucks. He's just like,
Just slip it in.
down. No, yeah. So they end up, Skrillex jumps up, and of course now it's like Ed Sheeran's kind of drunk. And so he jumps up there with him, and they're like standing. So it was the DJ booth was kind of set up. There was like 2 podiums, and then like the decks are in the middle. And so Skrillex is up on one side, Ed Sheeran's up on the other, and Skrillex is like leaning down, like twisting knobs while up on this. Dude, it was sick. Like that was fun. And then Nashville is just so different because it's like you'll run into celebrities
Yeah.
every day. Like you'll just be sitting at a bar and they'll be sitting next to you.
If you could serve a drink and have a conversation with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, see, that's tough. Because it would be, honestly, so I've met Portnoy
Yeah.
at Barstool, but if I could actually sit down and like have a drink with someone and pick their brain, I mean, he would be up there. Dana White would definitely be up there.
Nice.
I think, like, I see a lot of stuff that they're doing now, and I see the intent with the social media side of things and the promotional value in a lot of his moves. But I think Dana White would be a fun one. Yeah, I mean, actor-wise, I think Jason Momoa would be fun.
Ooh.
But other than that, I think Post Malone would just be a fucking blast.
Nice.
I don't even know like what we'd talk about, but we'd have a hell of a time.
I know Maddie's sitting in the bedroom right now. I guarantee she just heard that and was like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
She loves Post Malone.
Oh,
That would probably be her answer, or Snoop Dogg.
Oh, yeah, Snoop Dogg, we would go
I would
on.
I think I would go with The Rock.
See, I would go with The Rock, but I feel like I'm not a very tall guy.
You're sitting down. Who cares?
Yeah, you know, and it's like I just think like, but I guess I said Jason Momoa, so it's like,
Yeah. He's
you
a big
know,
dude too.
or you said Jason Momoa. I was like, wait, no, I did. But
No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Now I'm taking it back.
We'll go back.
Now I'm thinking VAR. And now I'm thinking about it, but it's yeah, I don't know. I think I just feel like I feel weird like about The Rock. Like I see his movies and I just see the fucking eyebrow and I'm just like, I don't know. That's something that irks me about it.
I just think he, like, brain wise,
Yeah.
he would have an awesome brain to pick with everything that he does branding wise, obviously from himself being in WWE and then acting and then now owning a football league, from producing TV shows and having his own tequila. It's just he's got to have a lot of knowledge in a lot of different fields and be somebody that would probably like to drink too.
Yeah,
So
dude.
that'd be a good one
His
too.
stories make me laugh so
Yeah.
hard.
I love when
it'll-
him and Kevin Hart are like together.
amazing.
The best.
And I just love though, because he'll have like these inspirational, and it sucks because it almost takes away from everything he does because he will have like this like cooking tutorial about his pancakes, or he'll be talking about like his daughter and like how successful and how proud he is, and then he'll be like, but nothing. It's like Terramana tequila, and I'm like, dude, you just took away from everything you just did.
It was such a meaningful speech.
100%. And I was like, it was all leading up to this.
Yeah. You feel like you got fucking duped, but
100%.
so being from Illinois, now living in Nashville, how do you think the service industries differ between the two cities?
Oh, dude. It's okay. So the big thing about Chicago that I think makes Chicago run so well is how cohesive and much of a family all the bars really are. Everyone, for as big as Chicago is, all the bars work together. All the bars really kind of know each other. Everyone is a big team. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course there's little drama bullshit everywhere, but I think Nashville, there's people that want Nashville to be one big cohesive unit. And then I think there are a lot of people and bars that are not on board with that. And it's them against the world, or, you know, they're not willing to do something for someone else. And it takes away from the guest experience at the end of the day. Like if everyone, and this isn't like saying anything directly to any one bar, but imagine how sick it would be if all of the bars essentially worked together on different things and we did, a bar crawl like T-Box.
It's literally, I just was talking to Darren about this.
I've had that idea since I moved to Nashville. The fact that there is not some giant bar crawl like T-Box.
It's fucking mind blowing.
T-Box is, they make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They have to. There is so many people involved with it, so many sponsors, so many things. Like the tickets have gone through the roof.
Even like a St. Patrick's Day bar crawl.
Dude, I'm saying.
There's nothing. There's no like 90s bar crawls that come to town. Like, and it's I'm glad that you said that because obviously I've talked about this on other episodes. And it was with Darren. But then I've talked about just Milwaukee being the same kind of way where everyone is so close knit. And then from the times that I've DJed in Chicago, man, it's the same thing where you can be a bar in River North and a bar in the Loop, and it's like they're still tight with each other.
Oh, 100%. And it's like the same DJs will kind of DJ all over where it's like here, I'm sure certain DJs are only allowed to DJ certain places and they can't. You would have probably a better insight on that where it's like they're not allowed to DJ other places because they DJ here. And it's like that's
which I feel like that kind of creates like a sort of animosity or just you kind of put a wall up from some of these other venues and then you just don't get that close to them because then you spend so much time at just these venues that it just probably kind of becomes the only place that you go to.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, it's mind-blowing that there's not something down here bar crawl wise. So maybe we gotta get that going.
That's what I'm saying, man. That would be such a huge goal of mine.
Yeah.
And I've joked in the past about doing, because I love the show New Girl.
Yeah.
And I've joked about doing like the anti-Valentine's Day bar crawl.
Yeah.
And having like a douchebag jar and, doing all the proceeds for charity and like getting t-shirts made. And I had a ton of stuff planned. And then I got COVID for the first time. And I was like, fuck, couldn't do it. But I would love to get something together and just have it grow.
Yeah.
To where, I don't even necessarily want to do it to make money. I would rather do it because it would be super fun in a great way. I love what guys like Colin are doing with volleyball. And, for 5 hours on a Tuesday, everyone works at this, it's like everyone kind of works together. It's like you're playing a team sport, and other than the tournament, everyone, you're playing against other bars and other teams, but everyone is more just concerned about having a good time. And it's just you got to come on a Tuesday, man.
Yeah, let me know. I've seen it because I saw Drew fucking play volleyball and do a backflip and break his face.
Oh yeah, yep, that did happen.
But yeah, it looks like a dope little spot too,
dude. It's so fun, and it's just such a great vibe that they've created. And Sandbar is just super hospitable, and they've been great with them, Colin, and all the bartenders for years. So that idea of like, hey, we're doing this on Tuesdays, like let's make it bigger, let's involve, because how easy would it be to have a bar crawl? You start at 5th and Broad and you go
just
down
work your way down
First.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's literally
like,
one street as opposed to like other bar crawls where it's like, all right, you got to hop from neighborhood to neighborhood or whatever.
It's like if you sell 500 tickets, I'm pretty sure you could, like if you sold 500 to 1,000 tickets and it was for charity, I'm pretty sure that we could get it approved to shut the streets down.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be that hard. I feel like we know enough people working at enough of these bars downtown that someone listening has the ability to find a way that we can get the streets shut down for a bar crawl for charity.
Yeah. So
let's figure it out. Let's
one of you guys.
Let's figure it out. There's a marathon. There was a marathon the other day. That is like the bane of my existence. Not just because I hate running, but when marathons happen in Nashville, you just can't move.
No, because it goes through every fucking main street downtown.
All of them. And I'm like,
I live 3 blocks away from Broadway.
And you can't even cross the street on foot.
Dude, it took me a half an hour to get downtown to DJ once because of like the marathon last year.
You just got to take printer paper and a Sharpie and then just
pretend that
jump
and
just pretend like you're in it.
That's actually a really fucking good idea.
Just pretend like you're in it and just cross. Yeah.
I just put a number on it.
Dude, I remember one time I had to get to work and I had to get lucky. And on the 5th Uber they were finally getting off of the highway, because I'm right in Germantown, and they were getting off of the highway that they didn't have to cross. And then I had to have him like basically make an illegal U-turn
just to get to your house.
just to get back on the highway to try and figure out how to get to work. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what scares me about like that stadium, is like the infrastructure of Nashville is just, I don't know if anyone ever thought Nashville would be what it is now, and sure as fuck are like not thinking about what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And it's exciting and terrifying all at the same time.
Yeah, because that new arena, I mean, you're thinking of like just football games there now?
Oh, I'm thinking concerts.
Well,
like,
I'm saying like now
Oh,
where
yeah.
it is, you're thinking just football games. But with that new one, I mean, it's going to be, you have football season, and then you have huge concerts there and different events there all through the year.
yeah. I mean, someone said it was like, it's going to be like U2 4 days in a row.
That'd
And
be fucking awesome.
They said the only places that U2 said that they would perform was like the Sphere and that new stadium.
That's fucking
And I was like,
sick.
that's an odd statistic, and I don't know where it came from. I'm going to have to check the
I
Google.
don't know if that's true,
I
but
don't know if that's true, but you know what?
we'll allow it.
That's fine.
We'll allow it. But yeah, let's talk about this side hustle that you got that you just recently started. You got
The
drinks
food.
with Zac,
Yeah.
and now we're gonna do some eats with Zac.
You know, eats with Zac. It's,
Yeah.
You know, I think even if I didn't want to call it that, that's what it would be called either way. So I just I gave in.
Yeah. Someone was just gonna self
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I didn't have a choice. It was just that, you know, it rolls off the tongue. It's, you know, drinks with Zac, eats with Zac. So
It works. It's all part of your brand.
It does. You know, I didn't have to get rid of the mullet. It's great. But yeah, man, it's slow season, which I mean, granted for us, like we're still having a great time, but any little extra money helps.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, you know, everything's about supply and demand. Well, the demand was just getting to the point that I couldn't just not listen anymore, and I had to supply. And so I essentially started my own meal prep company, and I was meal prepping for myself. Basically, at the first of the year, I decided to do Dry Nashville 2024.
Yeah.
Which has been going great.
Why'd you actually start though?
You know, I just think that, you know, every once in a while there comes a time when, you know, you black out and you wake up, and sometimes it's the next year. And you need to reevaluate and get refocused.
And you took that time, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I took that time.
Yeah.
But I still want to be able to have fun. You know, my big thing is, you know, nothing against people that do 75 hard or people that are vegan, but like you don't have to talk about it. And it's like, I feel like people that do like dry January, it's like, that's all you talk about. That's all oh no, I'm not drinking. And so it's like, I want to be able to like reward. I don't want to feel obligated. Like if I wanted to drink right now and like me and you go out, get hammered, cool. Like I could still wake up tomorrow and like not drink.
Yeah. Do your whole to-do list just fine. Yeah.
You know, cook some food, hang out, bunch of breakfast burritos. Got it.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just like, I don't want to get into that cycle of like, so I just told myself, I was like, I'm not going to drink in Nashville. But when I go on vacation, it's on.
Yeah.
So anyone that wants to plan a trip, 2024, let me know, I'm in.
You're doing all 2024?
Yeah. That's the goal.
Damn.
My thing is just like, when I'm at home, I want to be focused.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just, in 4 years of being in Nashville, it's like,
Just been nonstop drinking and partying.
well, it's been a lot of drinking and partying.
Yeah.
But it's the same shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I love going to Tin Roof. I love all the people at Whiskey Row, at Tin Roof, at Barstool. But if you've done it 10 times, you've done it 100 times. It's the same thing, you know? And it's like, unless there's like some special event or some special, you know, new remix of Lips of an Angel that you and Darren made, you know, it's like, there's no reason. Like even last night I went out to Tin Roof to Mumbrian, and it was the first time I had been there in months probably.
Yeah.
But even while I was there, and like I wasn't drinking, I was just hanging out, you know, had, you know, Red Bull, bullshitting, talking to people, catching up, saying hi. And it was like, I was there for 45 minutes and I'm just looking around. And I'm like, yeah, tight. Like, it was cool to see a couple of bartenders I hadn't seen in a minute, but it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. And like, for me, it does nothing to grow where I want to go and like do what I want to do. And there's so many other things I want to focus on.
That's literally the words I was just going to say is you're just growing out of it.
Yeah, and it's like I still, it's nothing against it. And it is so fun. And anyone moving to Nashville, I highly recommend spend at least a year getting drunk.
At least a year.
At least a year, just really, really just fuck up at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Maybe like 8. But, then after that, get focused.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I think about, like, if it wasn't slow season and if I wasn't like, kind of needing to start the meal prep company, like, would I have done that if I was still drinking? Or would I be able to do it would I be able to do it now if I was still drinking? Mm-hmm. No, probably not. Like, I wouldn't be motivated enough. I wouldn't have the drive to do it. But then again, it's like, would I have had to if not for the drinking? So, I mean, it's one of those, like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? But it's, either way, I'm grateful.
So what ultimately inspired you to like get started? I know you talked about like the demand. Were you just like cooking for friends and then friends being like, yo, you got to start making this or what?
Yeah, dude, I kid you not. It is literally just social media. So over the past year, 2 years, I take pictures of most of the shit that I cook. I love to cook.
Yeah.
I went to culinary school. It was my minor in college. And so for me, whenever I like post something or like if I make something that's really good, I'll take a picture of it because I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
It's sick.
You got to, man. Camera eats first.
Oh, dude, 100%. My friends hate that shit. But I'm like, if we go out to a dope ass dinner, I'm like, dude, there's no way I just spent $100 and like didn't take a picture for myself. But then also it's like if I take a cool picture, I'm like, artsy. Yeah, dude, I want to show it. People are like, yeah. Because then also people look for restaurant recommendations. But for me, it was like I was just posting pictures of my cooking. And I kid you not, I'll get like between 500 and 1,000 people viewing my story every day, like on a day-to-day basis on whatever I'm posting. When I post food content, no joke, it's at least 1,400, sometimes 2,000 people watching my stories. And I'm like, dude, I'm just a guy with a mullet making fucking avocado toast. But hey.
But it looks good on camera.
Yeah. And for some reason, like that content just drove views. It was shit people wanted to see. And then I put something up because this, like with the new year with me not drinking and stuff, I really wanted to get focused and try and get healthier and do meal preps. Mm-hmm. And so I was posting my meal preps that I was making for myself. And people were like, oh, fuck, these look good. And so I put up a story one night and I was like, hey, tomorrow I'm meal prepping for myself. If anyone wants one, like they're $14. And someone was like, why $14? And they were like, is that like a cost thing? And I go, well, no, it's because Uber Eats, GoPuff, all of those, the minimum is $15. So I thought I would just make it $1.
Just like trying to undercut. Yeah.
Yeah. No, realistically, it's like, I mean, you've gotten them. Like the food, it's like if Factor or any of those bigger things were going to get them, like they probably would be more expensive.
Yeah.
But it was $14 felt like a good number. And even still, like the second or third week, I think I tried to make it like 15 and someone was like, hey, like how much? And I said 15 and they didn't reply. And I was like, yeah, cool. We're going to keep it at 14 forever. But I mean, I love it. And so that was the thing was I just that's the craziest part to me was sight unseen or taste untaste. They had never even tried my food, and people were just first week ordering. I had like 5 people order the first week.
Yeah.
Like 27 meals ordered.
Because what, you're 4 weeks in now, 3 weeks in?
Yeah, like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And over 300 meals made. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, because I know you were telling me it was like first week, it was like 6 people and like 30 total meals ordered.
It was like 20. Yeah, it was like 27 the first week, and then it jumped. And it's almost doubled every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. Yeah.
Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just an ode to like the loyalty and like the following that I've built with anything that I've done, whether it be bartending or, you know, cooking or anything. It's cool as shit that people like believe in you. And for me, that was kind of like what this company is it's like the culmination of all of it. You know, I went to culinary school. My major was hospitality administration with a minor in culinary because I always wanted to own restaurants or run restaurants or be involved in some way. And then, you know, working in them, I fucking hated the kitchen. Like,
yeah, because you're a people person.
yeah, I was like, I want to, you know, I felt like the Little Mermaid, dude. I was like, I want to be where the people are. And no
Great
joke.
reference.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Disney all day. And so then once I was out front, I was serving and I was bartending and stuff. That's also where the money is.
Yeah.
You know, I love being in kitchens, but then, you know, that it's the people are up front, the money's up front. But then at the same time, it's like I'm not one of those like mixologist bartenders, you know, twirling my mustache. And it's just like I can make a great cocktail and I can tell you a whole bunch of shit about cocktails and I can probably put together some flavor profiles and shit like that, but I don't love it. Whereas like when it comes to food, like I'm passionate about it. Like making badass food and like seeing someone's reaction to like eating good food, like that's everything.
Yeah.
But then, you know, it was like I worked with Diageo. So it was like you take a passion for food and then bartending where it's like I spent years learning how to talk to people. And then you add in Diageo where they taught me how to build a brand.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Nashville and Nashville gave me the opportunity to become a brand. And so now it's just putting everything together and figuring out how to make money doing it. So it's really, it's been amazing. And I'm kind of blessed that it's been going as well as it has. Cause if it would have sucked like the first couple weeks, I would have been like, yeah, well, this was fun.
And you just would have quit?
I don't know if I would have quit, but I definitely would have scaled it differently.
Okay.
It would have been more of a just for the homies kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like making food for friends, which I think is kind of where it started. And it's grown into like, I mean, I had 2 orders between last week, this week, that I have people that I have to like approve. I'm like, what is this? It's not in my primary folder. I'm like, I don't even follow you. Like, we don't even have mutual friends.
You're like, how'd you find me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had regulars order food. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, cool. Like, these are just people that have been coming to the bar and become regulars and now follow me on social media that are like, yeah, I want to try your food. I've seen your pictures. It looks great. I'm like, hell yeah.
See, and I was going to say, I'm like, the target audience being people that follow you of like service industry people, I think like meal prep fits perfectly for a lot of people in the service industry. Just like don't want to cook or just like, I mean, you're just waking up at different hours with your sleep schedule. So I feel like paying the money to just have the meals cooked for you is a way better idea.
Oh, yeah.
And that target audience of like a service industry people has to be huge. But then hearing that you're just getting even random regulars and stuff too is awesome.
Well, and that was, the whole thing was for the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, I made my pickup day Thursdays, which for the industry, that's our Monday.
Yeah.
I made the meals are bigger portion because most industry people eat one meal a day. On a Friday or Saturday, if you're working a double and you're not eating a cold taco in a staircase over a garbage can, like, dude, it's a good day. But the other thing was too, it's like my first menu, like I modeled it after Mother's Ruin.
Okay, yeah.
Because I wanted something relatable and eye-catching. We're like, oh, fuck, that looks familiar. And it catches their eye and it's something that they can relate to.
Yeah.
And it's just the mental side of things where it's like marketing teaches us that like, hey, that works.
And that's where you became a little slut for Canva.
Oh, dude, it is. I honestly, like, I spend hours and I have just as much fun designing these menus as I do making the food.
Actually cooking, yeah.
Dude, straight up.
Yeah.
When so this past week I made my menus, and when I had the idea and I had like seen it on one of these, because now I'm like watching YouTube videos on shit you can do on Canva.
Try to get your game up.
Dude, it's so bad, but it's like funny and I love it. But it was like, I got rid of the bullet points and I added little silhouettes of the dishes on the side instead of bullet points. Dude, I felt so badass. I was
like, yeah, I'm a fucking Photoshop guru.
Oh, 100%, dude. I'm like adding highlights into the letters, just thinking like, I'm never getting laid again. I'm like, dude, this is great.
This is great.
This is awesome. And I'm like, oh, I'm using 3 different fonts. Oh, fuck.
So I know you went to culinary school. I watched The Bear a lot.
Oh,
great
dude.
show. What was culinary school like?
It kind of sucked. Yeah.
Not the answer I was expecting, but...
No, yeah, it kind of sucked.
I feel like every cooking show that you've ever seen in your life, or like even reality TV cooking shows, people in the kitchen are fucking dickheads. Mm-hmm. So it's like, is that what the like teachers or whoever like at culinary school?
So, I mean, yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think with most chefs or, you know, most people that have this ideology of Gordon Ramsay calling someone an idiot sandwich.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of very nice chefs and I've met a lot of dickhead chefs. And I think at the end of the day, it's really all circumstantial. Mm-hmm. And I will say that the one thing that's pretty true is that most chefs have short fuses.
Okay.
So they're real cool, but like the slightest inconvenience or like the slightest fuck up and like they'll let you know.
I mean, I feel like cooking, there is a very small margin for error.
Yeah.
I mean, you cook something a minute too long and it's ruined.
100%.
And it's like people are so picky with their food too. So if you fuck something up, that's a lot of money. I mean, when you look at a bar or restaurant, the margin of sales is way easier to reach on liquor and beverages than it is on food.
Especially Nashville prices, dude. You buy 2 drinks and it could pay for the whole bottle.
Yeah. Pays for the entire food meal that they're actually paying for.
Yeah, so. Whereas like a steak, you may pay like, you know, your margins are very different.
Exactly, yeah. So give me your short-term, long-term goals for Eats with Zac.
So I would say short-term right now is to keep organically growing it, but keep it at a pace that I don't get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Until I can be in a position where I can hire someone that I trust to be an extra set of hands. And obviously there's, you know, people I would love to come on and come into the fold and be a part of it. But, you know, they also have their lives and there's, you know, a million different factors. But, you know, my big thing is going to be scaling it the right way, not overwhelming myself, because I want to still be able to give a quality product. And, you know, I could easily probably promote it and, you know, push out 300 orders and the food might suck. Mm-hmm. And then it dies the next week. But if I cap it at like 100 and I'm like, cool, I could easily successfully do, you know, 100, 120, then it's great.
And the quality control is
Quality control's there. Yeah. I could still take a really cool picture, put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, for me, that's what matters more is like, giving people a quality product, mm-hmm. you know, and it's same thing. It's kind of full circle with bartending where it's like the money will come. If at the end of the day, you're chasing genuineness, mm-hmm. the money's going to come naturally. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't, you know, at least you stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
I've said this to bartenders, servers, everyone, when they're like, how do you stay like so happy? Why are you always so smiley? Mm-hmm. And I tell people, you know, someone told me a long time ago, they're like, the more fun you have, the more money you make. And if you don't make any money, at least you had fun.
Damn.
And I remember someone telling me that, and I was like, oh, this guy's fucking dumb as shit. I was like, I don't want to work with this guy. And then it was maybe like a year later, and I was just miserable. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, let's just have fun today. Mm-hmm. And it just completely opened my eyes, man. Just having shifts, especially the shifts that are dead, dude, have fun.
The bartenders that have fun and like you can tell are fun behind the bar.
People gravitate towards that.
Dude, it's the best. Like our buddy Dom from Milwaukee, you met him when he was out here, this dude with the fucking long hair that was sitting on the stage with his shirt off, having people eat French fries out of his belly.
Oh, I did see that, dude. Yeah. Shout out to Terry for the old ketchup dip. A little bit
fucking
of
disgusting, but it was hilarious. But yeah, that's him. I mean, he's the guy that's just the energy and the vibe behind the bar. He's just having fun, and it's the best.
It's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
It's, you know, obviously I still am concerned about paying my bills and like, staying afloat. And that's important. But at the end of the day, a few years ago, I stopped caring and being so serious about the logistics of certain things and just really just started having fun.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of things have just fallen into place because of it.
Yeah.
And that's
which is good. That's awesome.
I can't complain.
Yeah.
We're
so
killing
what are the long-term goals?
Long-term goals, I would love to get to a point where bartending becomes the side job, or even just for fun and to keep up the network and, essentially just guest bartend at places to help build industry days or, whatever the case may be. I don't see myself ever not being a part of Barstool. I am just way too like my loyalty level, especially with bars that I work at, is through the roof, and they've been nothing but amazing to me that I would never leave on bad terms or anything like that. But yeah, long term, I would love to, do some collabs. I think Daddy's Dogs, I would love to do something with them. I think we could do something really cool, really fun.
Yeah.
I know there's a ton of different, influencers and these at-home chefs, and there's a ton of different meal prep companies and different things popping up, and same thing with the bars. I'd love to maybe unify them all, work together. Let's do something or figure out a way that we can all grow. Ideally, who knows? If it gets big enough to the point where it can be sold, or one of these bigger factor meal companies wants to write me a big check just to go away. Yeah. I'd be down. Then I get a bunch of money to go work on another project.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's like I love the organization of it. I'd love to hire, 5, 6 people and have it be big enough that it kind of runs itself, and I can just, make menus on Canva, just hang out, just sit at home, bartend 2 days a week, and then make menus on Canva.
Have other people do the work for
play
you.
Fortnite with Iga, dude. That's all I want to do. Just make menus on Canva and play Fortnite. That'd be awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of events that you could probably end up running for yourself. I know I have like a couple buddies that have like food trucks, and it's just like stuff that you can do with that where it's like they pull it up to a bar and then just kind of run an event through there and just being able to partner with those bars.
I'm curious how Nashville works with the food trucks.
Yeah, like legally how it works.
A really good friend of mine just bought a food truck recently, and he's going through the process right now of all the logistics and the getting the licensing and getting everything, and I am so stoked. Yeah. Like that is going to be one thing where it's like I will support him 100%. And if he ever needs help, I'm like, dude, I'm in the back of that truck. Yeah. But it's finding a spot, because it's the politics of it, where it's these spots are hard to come by, and the bars and everything else. And it's once that's open, like that's huge. But I would love to have a food truck or have a brick and mortar, but dude, rent in Nashville is insane.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. I've been looking for an actual studio, like just looking at buying a place for a studio. And just running my own podcast studio, because the need for it is definitely here in Nashville. It's just finding the right spot that's not a fucking $1 million, which is
me and Min have a third bedroom. It's empty. You do whatever you want.
Rent it out.
We'll rent it out to you. Yeah, man.
Be fucking awesome. Yeah,
it'd be hilarious, dude.
Looking for something, man. But
you just hear my cat meowing in the background.
Yeah, well, same as this little sleeping girl
Luna
right
for
here.
Chill, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, let's hit you with some rapid fire questions that I got, and then we'll send you on your merry way, man. So I always like to kind of ask the people on here some little quick hitters. So
I love it.
We'll start off with something a little fiery, something that might get some people's ears on it. So what's one bar that you would eliminate from Broadway?
Ooh, Roberts.
Right away, really? You're getting rid of the recession special?
Every time I'm shit faced, I'm dead set on getting a fried bologna sandwich, and then the next day I hate myself because of that fried bologna sandwich.
I have still yet to get one.
Oh, we're doing it.
Are they good?
Oh, they're so fucking good.
See, I've never been a bologna
but then like the
guy.
next day, it's like I know I did it. And I'm just like, oh, I just hate it.
I've always been like a ham guy or like a turkey guy. I've never been a bologna guy. Like, you'd never get me at like a Subway ordering a fucking bologna sandwich.
Bologna is like the champagne of deli meats. Okay, first of all, bologna, and then it's like mortadella is the bologna of Italy. Like they're delicious.
Fair enough. I'll come and try it with you. We can go there.
Oh, we're going.
All right.
We're going. We're going to get trucker hats too.
Oh, I'll definitely get one of those.
Yeah.
I'm a big hat guy.
You
I should have been wearing one right now.
You got to get a Hudson hat, man.
Hudson's next week at Barstool, right?
March. That's what they're saying, man.
Yeah, cool.
I can't wait.
Yeah. What's one bar that's not on Broadway that you would move to Broadway?
Ooh, dude. See, that's a double-edged sword because it's like, imagine if Mothers was on Broadway.
See, yeah, I feel like it would kind of ruin the.
It would ruin what it is.
Yeah.
Like
Mothers is Mothers because it's not swamped by fucking tourists.
Like it's pretty swamped still, but
yeah.
Like I would love if a bar like Mothers was on Broadway. Mm-hmm. But then I think it wouldn't be Mothers.
I think like the customer service and the experience would change too. Like,
they might have to get TVs. It would be a whole fucking ordeal.
People would want to watch sports. But that would be a good one. If you give me like that vibe.
Oh, dude.
And their food, because their food is fucking
just people
great.
working doubles, just running, getting picklebacks, running back.
Yeah,
we're good.
That would be a good one. So we're going to talk about a little bit of music here. What is one genre of music that you would eliminate from bars forever?
Oh, this is a controversial one. But no joke. So, like, old country.
Okay.
Anything with a fiddle can
like
fuck
twangy,
off.
Fucking bluegrass.
Anything with a fiddle can fuck off.
Fair enough.
Like I'm not a huge like big metal guy, but even like you get guys like Dean and Mikey and Trent where they'll play like a little heavier shit. Crowd loves it. I love it. You see like Nudies does stuff like that. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But like if it's 11 o'clock in the morning and I hear I'm jumping off the roof. No questions asked. And I'm not even hungover anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sober and I just hate like I can't do the fiddle, can't do the watermelon crawl. Fuck it.
I'm like a dubstep and like hard trap like that. It's like, dude, I'll listen to DJ mixes and then all of a sudden one remix that just goes hard into the screwdriver shit. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Just nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, this mix was so good until that one song. And like, I shouldn't think like that as a DJ. I'm like, yeah, just get through the one song. But, But I can't stand
I'll just put you and Darren's Lips of an Angel.
Yeah, just on repeat.
Just that on repeat is all I need.
Yeah. What is a song, speaking of Lips of an Angel, what is one song that you wish could be played every night in a bar? Like that every night that you work, you want to hear it. And it can't be Lips of an Angel.
I was going to say, it already happened.
Yeah, pick something else.
The amount of like bands and DJ, like that song gets played now.
Just because you're working?
Well, it's funny. Like Darren will see me walk by and be like, it's time.
Yeah.
But there was so many different, like I remember the first time it was like my birthday. We were at Whiskey and we kept holding our phones up saying it and Diesel played it. And it was like, Lips of an Angel, dude. It's such a banger and it's so iconic that the amount of people that will sing along to it, it's the greatest.
It really is.
If there's one song that I could have played
every night, you want to hear every night that you work.
Oh man, it would. It'd have to be a sing along song, but like a random one. Mm-hmm. It would either be that or song. I mean. Up until the past few weeks, like I forgot how much I love Toby Keith songs.
Yeah.
But now they're being played everywhere.
Yeah.
They're way up. And courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue or Made in America, like I will belt out Made in America by myself in the car all day long. So you know what? Actually, I think I'll go with that. Made in America, Toby Keith.
I thought you were going to go with a Creed song.
No, I think Creed and because Hinder's already being played.
Yeah,
and if I had to pick,
similar.
It's like they're too similar.
Yeah,
but I think Creed's going to get its own plays.
Yeah,
we got to kind of shake it up a bit, and we already know Hinder's getting played.
We'll keep Creed at Red Door.
It's my number one play, and I had nothing to do with that. It did it all on its own.
You were my number one suspect as soon as I saw that post.
And I looked at it and I was like, I've only played it 43 times. That's fucking.
You went and looked at your Touch Tunes credits. You're like, damn. All right.
I have like 2,705 plays.
God.
And I'm pretty sure 1,500 of them are probably either Creed or My Dick by Mickey Avalon.
That's your other go-to.
Yeah, it was for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went through a phase.
That song is a good song.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
Most bars don't allow it on their touch tunes.
I mean,
Same with they took Lips of an Angel off of their touch tunes at Red Dog.
because it was getting played too much.
Yeah, so we switched to Creed.
That's so funny.
Take that. next month, I don't know if we're gonna have
Be
to
like,
go.
checkmate, bitch.
Yeah, next month we're just gonna really throw a curveball and just Celine Dion.
Yeah.
I'll just go sit in the parking lot and just start playing Celine Dion.
Or just some wild, like super girly pop that's just completely different
Even
from
better.
either of them. Like,
I used to get drunk and I would play the 10-minute version of All Too Well.
of just,
The fact that was on the touch tunes as an option is fucked up.
I would have girls come up and be like, "Can you play Taylor Swift?" and say like the 10-minute version. I'm like,
$100.
I am DJing.
I don't even think it'd
at
be worth it for $100.
Yeah, I'm like, you think I'm just gonna drop a fucking 10-minute song of Taylor Swift and just clear
Yeah.
out this entire bar?
Yeah.
Like, I love Taylor, but
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm a big Swiftie.
yeah,
And I don't even hide it. It's not even like,
Yeah.
it's not a secret thing. I
'Cause
keep
you got
telling
bangers.
Brandon, because there's like Swiftie Barstool merch. Mm-hmm. And I keep telling Brandon I'm going to buy it. And he's like, don't you fucking dare. I was like,
I mean, Portnoy loves her too. So
Dude, Portnoy's big
you
fan.
cannot. So
big fan.
yeah, but yeah, man. Anything else that you got out, or anything else that you have that you need to promote?
No,
out
man. No, just, come see me at Barstool, man. Look for the big
Yeah.
neon sign. Zactina.
Can't
That's still
miss it.
so funny. It's just, it's weird to even say it and they're like promoted. It's
Yeah.
like, actually, you know what? Visit the downstairs bartenders. And if you get bored, come upstairs, hang out, say hi.
Come pop upstairs.
Take a
yeah.
picture of the sign, tag me in it.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. I thank you for taking the time to come in here. Luna's knocked out over here.
Dude.
Just a great co-host, just passing out on the job. But yeah, I'll make sure I get all your socials up. Make sure you guys follow him at Drinks with Zac, ZAC.
Yes, sir.
Follow the show at The Platform Mix. If you guys like those DJ mixes, I put out new DJ mixes every single Monday. This week, we just actually put one out today because it is Monday today from Eric Fortin, who's a Nashville guy here. Hour-long mixes that go out on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Mixcloud. For the show, make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts. Leave Zach any comments that you guys got. Let him know if you guys got any questions, if you want to buy some meal prep from him. And then follow me at DJ Dex MKE. Till next time, we'll see you guys later. Check, mic check, 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?